Okay, so I just want you to take a good look at a few possibilities for going to Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and staying in a fully featured condo or hotel. Now, the first thing I want you to understand is that whenever I travel, it doesn't matter where I go, whether it's Dubai or Seychelles or Maldives, I'm always focused on the amenities. So basically, a pool is a must, especially for the summer and the spring months. Air conditioning is a must because I pretty much run that 100% of the time. If you looked at my video from Thailand or Philippines, you'll probably notice it's like, yeah, I keep that air conditioner on because I'm only comfortable if the temperature is 70 or below. On top of that, I like to have a kitchen or a kitchenette, so this way if I want to heat up anything or cook anything, I can do that. So I just want you to see all of these places are in Ho Chi Minh City, and they've all been filtered for having a pool, kitchen, air conditioner, and they typically have, free shuttle service back and forth to the airport. The arrivals, Saigon Center, this is just one possibility. Another thing I like to have is a queen size or king size bed. Some of the countries, if they do things on the smaller side, they may or may not have king size, so at least you look for a queen size bed. But as you can see, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful places, very earthy, very natural oriented, because you got to remember Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, and even the Philippines, these places are mostly farms. So you get all of these things. Look, free Wi-Fi, that's another thing I filter for. Kitchens, business services, breakfast, air conditioning, pool. I'm bringing this up because there are some of you passport bros and you don't know exactly where you want to go. But let's see. For a deluxe queen size bed, you're talking $17 a day. Now, I usually use Expedia to book my trips. So that means that right now, if I were to book right now, I'd get 20% off. King bed, $30 a night. So as you can see, these places are not expensive. Not expensive at all. So this is the arrivals. Then you have Song Lam right here. Just show you what this one looks like. Song Lam right here, the same thing. You can either have double beds, king bed, queen bed. Usually in Vietnam, they use a lot of wood. So when you have furniture, a lot of it is very, very thick, heavy rosewoods or very, very thick, heavy woods of different species of trees. Usually bamboo, if it depends what they're making, but you have very lovely wood furniture. They have beds to accommodate families. They have beds to accommodate friendly travelers, whatever you got. And as you can see, trees, and it's very, very earthy. These places are very, very earthy. They're very, very lovely. One more or two more, like as you can see, because I love having a nice pool. When I go to these places, especially in the spring or summer month, I spend most of my time just swimming in the pool or at the beach. Now, most of these places are actually close to the beach. So if you want to go to the beach, you can absolutely go to the beach. It takes a few seconds to load. Some of these things are a little slow. Okay, here it is. Okay, so yeah, here are some of the pictures. Jolly Home Sky Center, Block A. You can look these things up yourself, but the point is, all of these places are pretty much less than $30 a day. And yes, while there is a sale right now, this is how you'd be staying. Now, if you want to stay there for a month or whatever the visa will allow, these places have gyms. You can filter to have gyms, just like this place right here, Jolly Home Sky Center, Block A. These places are lovely, and they've got everything. This place is $20 a day, down from $28. So understand, when I say that the cost of living in Vietnam is low, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Just ask yourself this. Could you live like this in Manhattan for $20 a day? I'm sorry, not 20, $19 a day. Could you live like this in Manhattan for $19 a day? Could you live like this in California for $19 a day? Could you? You tell me. I don't think you could. I don't think you could. So this is my whole point. So basically, for less than $1,000 a month, food and living like this, you're living the dream. Living the dream. Could you live like this anywhere else? Vietnam has some of the lowest wages and incomes in all of Southeast Asia. They have some of the lowest costs of living in all of Southeast Asia. So you come here, you're living the dream. Now, I know there's some of these strags that like to say that we're not teaching people anything and we're just talking about women. But this series of videos that I'm doing teaching. So there's no way that they can claim that we're just talking about women. There's no way they can claim it. Not at all. Okay, so the story that I want to read to you is Travel Noir. Now, you may remember them. They were pretty much the first mainstream, online magazine to feature the Passport Bros story. You see, first of all, before I even get started, one of the things Dennis Sperling said, and I had been saying this for a very long time, these women were angry at Kevin Samuels, but Kevin Samuels himself was basically the floodgates, and he was holding back the Passport Bros. See, Kevin Samuels wanted these women to have a chance towards marriage. If you looked at his Facebook, his Instagram, he was focused on marriage. He was focused on, people would pay to go onto his services. And he was focused on marriage. He was actually keeping these women in the game. However, Passport Bros, they ain't even trying to play the game. They're not even trying to play. They are saying, get your passports, go overseas and find a better life. Now, there's different types of Passport Bros because some of the Passport Bros are working abroad. Some of them are interested in just leaving America, and some of them are interested in relationships specifically. So there's different types of Passport Bros. Can't lump all Passport Bros into the same category. Here you have a black expert. I moved to Vietnam with no job lined up. So let's see how it went for him. Craig is 29 years old and a native of South Florida. He recently left his job in admissions at the Art Institute of Houston to make the move to Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, with no job lined up. We had the chance to speak with him about his experience as a black man living in Vietnam. Okay, read full article. I'll leave you the link for this so you can also read it if I skip anything. If I have trouble reading this, it's because these goddamn ads everywhere make it hard to read. So anyway, Craig, so Travel Noir says, why did you make the move to Vietnam? Craig, honestly, nothing was going right for me back in the States. Working a 9-to-5 job I hated. I was depressed, drinking a lot, and just hated where my life was. After months of applying for jobs in the justice system and getting rejected, I finally said I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I booked a one-way ticket in February, sold all of my things in March, and got on a plane to Southeast Asia April 1st. April 1st is Fool's Day, April Fool's Day, just in case you didn't notice. But Craig is obviously no fool. He's living it up. All right, Travel Noir. What challenges do you face as a black man living in Asia? Craig, one of the biggest things I face being black and abroad, especially in Vietnam, is the staring. There are not a lot of black people in Vietnam compared to Thailand and Malaysia. So people often overly stare at you to a point it becomes uncomfortable. I literally saw someone almost get into an accident on their bike staring at me. That kind of happened to me in China. Like, in fact, to tell you the truth, I would stand there at the corner just to see if somebody would get into an accident staring back at me. And, I just wave at them and everything. Meanwhile, they're heading into an intersection. But anyway, another big thing is dating. As a black man in an Asian country, the culture is mostly taught to fear you. So it's hard to meet a woman unless it's on Tinder. That's where they feel free to admit that they like brothers. So let's just understand this, because here's the thing. You've got a lot of these strags on TikTok who try to say, oh, yeah, they don't like Americans or they don't like black people. First of all, that's not true at all. A lot of these women, specifically the women, like brothers. They just do. They absolutely do. Now, if there aren't any brothers around, then chances are they're only going to deal with what they have at hand. However, if you introduce brothers to these societies, most likely, if you're single when you go there, you ain't going to be single very long, which is why In this teaching tool, I've been introducing Vietnam Wingman, and more on that later. So anyway, Travel Noir. What are the best things about being a black man living abroad? Craig. Now, I want you to think about this. This is Craig. Craig's a black man. Craig is in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City, a country that America waged war in not too long ago. Craig says the most important thing about being a black man living abroad, or the best thing to him, feeling safe. Now, this is Craig talking. I still watch the news back in the States sometime, and I see black men getting harassed by police and being afraid for their life. It is one of the best feelings to walk down the street and not have to worry about getting shot. Now, it wasn't too long ago that these strags are threatening brother Austin Holloman in Brazil. It wasn't too long ago that you've got 5 cops beat a black man to death for running away from a traffic stop. It wasn't too long ago you got a black man in a traffic accident who runs into traffic and gets tased to death. This was within the last couple of weeks. But what does Craig say about living in Vietnam? What is Craig saying? This is not me. What is Craig saying about living in Vietnam? I want to read that one more time. Feeling safe. I still watch the news back in the States sometime, and I see black men getting harassed by police and being afraid for their life. It is one of the best feelings to walk down the street and not have to worry about getting shot. Not just by the cops, but by your own people, or by some white boy who walks into a Buffalo supermarket and decides to shoot the place up because it's filled with black people. Or not being at church and Dylan Roof walks in and starts shooting up the church-going prayers. And because none of those people had a gun in church to shoot back, they just got killed. What does Craig say? Craig says one of his favorite things is being safe. So I have to ask the question before I even go on. How is it that these strags and TikTok and these idiots online, how is it that they talk about how unsafe a black man is when the black men living abroad are literally telling you that the most important thing to them is that they feel safe? Can somebody answer that for me? Because it sounds like these dumbass strags don't know what they're talking about, mostly because they haven't traveled anywhere. The only places they travel are these poor African countries and these poor Caribbean countries because they're trying to get their hot girl summer. Am I right? Oh, yes, I am. Oh, and by the way, I'm calling this man right here Craig. I'm glad to see Craig is safe where he is. This story was 2018, so this was a little while ago. So, he's older now. But the bottom line is, do not argue with me. Because if you have arguments, you can just go defenestrate yourself out of a window. I'm not interested in arguments at this point. There is no more argument. I think that's one of the other mistakes that Passport Bros kind of are making. We don't have to argue with anybody. You grab your passport, grab your plane ticket, and you go. You ain't got to argue with nobody. There's no argument. There is no argument at all. This is solved. There's no problem here. This is no argument. It's just you do what you want to do. That's it. Ain't nobody policing you. Ain't nobody can police you. You could be like Craig. Okay, next. Travel Noir, how does life in Vietnam compare to life back home? Okay, well, let's see what Craig has to say. Man, I love life abroad. The food is better and healthier. I'm experiencing a new culture and I'm finally happy. What did Craig say? Craig says, I'm finally happy. I haven't been this happy and carefree in years. It's amazing. Now, I want you to look closer at Craig's picture because as a black man, I've noticed something about black men in photos. Black men don't smile in photos. Why? Because black men aren't happy. But look at Craig. Craig is smiling. You know why Craig is smiling? Craig is happy. Craig says, I haven't been this happy in years. What you got to say about that? Nothing. Okay, Travel Noir. Do you have plans to return to the States? If so, when? Craig, as of right now, no. There is nothing there for me. Why go back to work another dead-end job because I don't have 8 years of experience with my degree for most high-paying positions when I can live life, be happy, and travel the world? Well, you don't have to convince me, Craig. Travel Noir. What advice can you give to other black men and women looking to move abroad? Well, let's just focus on black men. Okay, Craig, the hardest thing is leaving. To be honest and not listening to those friends that say you are crazy. You are not crazy. They are just scared. Leaving the States is difficult because we have been taught that we must follow the script. College, job, marriage, house, kids. My advice, be different. Travel Noir says, where can our readers contact you if they have questions? Well, Craig says, I can be found on Instagram at The Cheap God. At The Cheap God. So, guys, I'm going to make this short. I'm doing a whole series on Southeast Asia. I'm not really interested in South America, to be perfectly honest. So I kind of already spoke a little bit on the Philippines. I made videos already in the Philippines. I think I might even want to go to Vietnam. I might want to shoot some movies over there or videos, whatever you want to call it, that comes off an iPhone. But the thing about it is, look at Craig. Craig is smiling. Craig is happy. Be like Craig. Don't be like people who are stuck in the same old cycle. People who listen to these other people tell them, oh, you don't want to go over there because it's dangerous. Craig's telling you it ain't dangerous. Craig's telling you he's having the time of his life. He ain't worried about cops pulling over his car and shooting it up 30 or 40 times because they thought he had a weapon. Craig's telling you that he ain't worried about no Pookies and Ray Rays robbing him. He ain't worried about no cops putting their knee on his neck. Craig is saying, no. I'm tired of this dead-end job. I am happy. I have healthy food. He didn't, now notice Craig didn't talk about women. He didn't say anything about women except for the fact that they really do like brothers. And you know why Craig is smiling. Craig is smiling because chances are he's got something gorgeous over there. In fact, I would look at his Instagram, but I'll let you do that yourself if you want to contact him and you can ask him about his personals and this, that, and other. Craig is doing great. Be like Craig. Be happy. Be happy. That's all you got to do. That's the reason why Passport Bro's getting 8 passports right there. There is no argument to this story. Craig said it himself. I didn't say it. Craig said it. There's no argument. You can't argue with me because I didn't say it. Craig said it. Right? That's right. So, very simply put, this is what you're looking at right here. Now, Vietnam, again, I'm doing a whole series on Vietnam because Vietnam is inexpensive to live in. Vietnam is safe, even for brothers. And this is the story of Craig. The worst part about going to a foreign country is not knowing what to do, not knowing where to have fun, not having any guides, not having anyone to be with, being lonely, not knowing what to do from day to day. One of the worst things you can ever feel in a foreign country is loneliness. Sometimes you go to a foreign country, you don't have friends who've gone with you. Maybe you're an expatriate. Maybe you're a worker in a foreign country. Perhaps you're in Vietnam. Perhaps you go to Vietnam, outsourced by your IT company, and you don't know what to do or who to meet. Well, Vietnamese Wingman or VietnamWingman.com is here to help you. If you're looking for friends, language partners, relationships, marriage, Vietnamese Wingman, VietnamWingman.com is here to help you to have a great time in Vietnam, meet somebody, meet a friend, meet a woman, meet a wife. They are here to help you do that. So check out Vietnam Wingman and enjoy the rest of the story.
Men, please, talk to us. My brothers, talk to us and tell us what we doing. I want to know. I want to listen. I listen. Tell me so I can tell the rest of us. So I can tell my sisters. what we need to fix. If you don't talk to us, how are we going to know? Like, I need you to really be genuine about it. Like, just take some time to think about it and reply to this. I want to know, what can we do to fix this?
It's too late to apologize. It's too late. I said it's too late to apologize. It's too late.
To be continued.